the 4th of June, 22. May the 4th of May. May 4th, 22. May the 4th be with you. Yes, this is a report on Dmitry Rogozin uh, repeated threats to withdraw Russia from the International Space Station. My friends, ignore that, and especially Bloomberg and Axios. They keep reporting this, just running it up the flag every time Rogozin burps. But Rogozin, he didn't want the job he's got as head of Roscosmos in the first place. It was considered a demotion to him. He was one of Putin's apparatchiks, or whatever you want to call him. Um, he doesn't like his job. Hi, Renee Cruz. How you doing? He's out there threatening to take Russia out of the International Space Station. He has made a lot of racket. He is unhappy with the sanctions. He's saying, hey, as long as we got the sanctions, hey, Glenn Green, he says we're going to take it out. So guess what? He is full of it because he's not actually filed a formal complaint to take Russia out of the International Space Station program. And he is actually, even his statements he made, he said he'd do it like within a year. So a year is a little while away. Hey, Contran, how you doing? Yeah, nano, nano. Yeah, may the 4th be with you. So he's making all kind of racket, and quite frankly, it's going to be a year before they do anything. Bill Nelson, who is a former senator and as a congressman rode in the space shuttle, is now the head of NASA, the NASA administrator. He said that he's not heard anything, and he don't believe that Russia will withdraw at all whatsoever. See, Russia and the United States had an agreement, and the agreement was that they get along and not talk politics vis-a-vis what's going on between the two countries, that all their space activities be apolitical, that they just work together to do the science and the engineering. And that has held pretty good until Rogozin come along. Of course, recently some of the astronauts said he's not going to go from Russia to the International Space Station because of all this, but probably Rogozin hey, Renee, good to see you. Rex Bear sent you here. Good to see you here. Seeing a metallic diamond shaped extraterrestrial alien UFO here in my hometown of San Francisco. She's back in 1978 when I was 12. Wow. All right. Well, that's interesting there, Renee. We'll have to see more about this. But anyway, just to finish this report, the good thing is, in a year, a lot can be done. Basically, SpaceX has offered to come to the rescue. And for those that don't know, before we pulled this into the program, after we had gotten rid of the propulsion modules that we were going to put on the truss at the APAS sites out here on the truss of the space station, we had actually come up with this thing called a functional cargo block, which is essentially a keyhole satellite on the spy satellite payload bus, is basically the structure of the satellite that wasn't used, which is equivalent to the same thing as the Hubble Space Telescope. We were going to put that on the space station. It was going to do the job. That element still exists. It's in a warehouse, I believe, in Maryland. My good friend Gary Barnhart knows where it's at. You days, how you doing? All of a sudden, how you doing? Rex Bear. There it is. Hey, is Rex in the house? Let's see here. Anyway, so that's the deal, guys. We are, we're hearing all these threats, and we are having some trouble between the United States and Russia. As you know, who knows, we may be in full-blown war before we know it. Let's hope not. It is a possibility. But it's also a possibility that at least the engineers could get along with each other. I've been to Roscosmos, and I've been to Enki companies there in Russia, and had really good meetings. I enjoyed myself there, met a lot of bright people, and it was a good time. And the engineers, and even in earlier bad times between Russia and the United States, had gotten along. Yeah, I remember we had Apollo Soyuz test project program after we landed on the moon, which was a joint program with the Soviet Union, actually, before the Soviet Union broke apart back in the early Apollo days. So we've had experience working with Russia prior to the space station, and we also sent astronauts to Mir. What a lot of people don't realize is we basically cut a drug deal with Russia to build this thing. And that drug deal was that they weren't supposed to be building nuclear reactor. We paid for them to put their stuff on the space station. We actually paid them to do it. And we did that as a deal to keep them from building nuclear reactors in where? Iran. And what did they do? They went ahead and built the nuclear reactors in Iran. And so we're having all this trouble with Iran today. Thank you, Russia. But anyway, so what do you got to complain about, Russia? Come on, Roscosmos. we've been here. You didn't live up to your side of the deal. You still got paid. You're on the orbit here. And they just put a big European robotic arm on the International Space Station, on the Russian side of it. So Russia's, on the International Space Station, partners they are not happy with, putting a robot arm from other partners they're not presently happy with. So let's hope that at least within the realm of space, we can kind of get along. You know what I mean? Let's hope so. So, all right, what we got here? Chilly weather, good evening. I'm going to read the comments here. New day is always high there. Let's see, it's sad if it comes to war, we are on the side. Yeah, well, yeah, there's a lot to be talked about there, Contrarian. I am going to go more into that in the future on my other channel. Everything is not what it appears, though. There's a lot of stuff going around. But, it's a sad thing where we're at. It's crazy here each passing day. That's the truth. So, it's kind of interesting. In the book 2001, A Space Odyssey, we had the joint space station between Russia and the United States. And in that book, when they were coming back from Jupiter, the United States and Russia were on the verge of atomic war. Partners in space on the verge of war. That's like where we're at today. The book was just ahead of its time a little bit, was it not? We are in a very similar situation at this moment. So let's hope that saner, more level heads prevail and somehow the nukes don't fly. But we are not in a pretty situation at the moment. So let's hope we can maintain some level of sanity in the midst of these crazy times. Anyway, my friends, I'm going to go. That's all I'm going to say for this video. I just want you to know that this has been out there. It's making the news. They're out there saying, oh, Russia's going to take their elements off and go bye-bye, and it's going to happen like immediately. And that's just not the case. It may happen. It may happen, but it's probably not happening immediately. Hey, Neil, how you doing? Amen. Yeah, all right. So anyway, thank y'all for watching. Have an awesome day, and Greg out.